So let's talk about something that's becoming pretty hard to ignore: major power blackouts and what they can teach us about, well, being able to take care of ourselves. Now, this isn't about scaring anyone, not at all. It's about being smart, being responsible, and really understanding just how delicate our modern world can be. Okay, let's get into it. Our story really kicks off in 2025. That was the year that served as a massive wake-up call for Europe, putting a spotlight on just how vulnerable the infrastructure we rely on every single day truly is.
Yeah, two events in particular really stand out. First, on April 28th in Spain, and then, just a couple of months later on July 4th in the Czech Republic. And we're not talking about minor glitches here. These were huge failures that basically threw millions of people into the dark in the blink of an eye.
And the scale of what happened in Spain, it's just mind-boggling. 60% of the entire country's power grid just vanished in minutes. Right away, shops could only take cash, ATMs were just useless bricks, and cell phone networks completely collapsed. What a wake-up call for how much we depend on that invisible flow of electricity.
And over in the Czech Republic, the picture was just as messy. In a major city like Prague, life just stopped. You had elevators stuck between floors, the entire public transit system went dead, and forget about using your card to pay for anything. This wasn't a what-if scenario. This was real life for millions of people.
Okay, but it's super important to understand this wasn't just some isolated problem in Europe. These events were actually part of a much bigger global pattern, and they all point to the same uncomfortable truth. Our power grids are pretty fragile.
And as you can see, when you look around the world, the story just repeats itself. In Montenegro, it's extreme heat that takes down the grid. In India, it's overwhelming demand causing rolling blackouts. In Louisiana, in the US, it's severe storms that knock out power for days on end. And then you have places like Kenya, where hospitals are forced onto diesel generators that can't even cover 2/3 of their needs. The cause might be different each time, but the lesson is always the same. Our systems are really being pushed to the limit.
And that brings us to the really crucial point here. A blackout isn't just, an inconvenience where you have to find some candles. No, it's a chain reaction. It's like a line of dominoes, and once the first one falls, it takes down every single part of our modern, connected lives. Let's walk through how that happens.
The first domino? It's almost always your wallet. We live in a world that's becoming more and more cashless, right? So when the power goes out, so do all the digital payment systems. Your cards are suddenly just pieces of plastic, and your access to your own money is just gone.
Right after that, another domino tips over: refrigeration. And this is bigger than just your groceries going bad. For a lot of people, this is about life-saving medicines, like insulin, which can become completely unusable in a matter of hours.
And then, silence. Cell networks, the internet, they are incredibly power hungry. When they go down, our ability to call for help, to check on our loved ones, or to get any kind of reliable information just evaporates.
And then, society itself just stops. Traffic lights go dark, which is chaos. Electric trains are dead on the tracks. And good luck getting gas. The pumps at the station need electricity to work. You're stuck.
And all of this leads to the final, and maybe the most dangerous domino of all: a total information blackout. Not knowing what is going on or how long it's going to last, that's what turns a crisis into pure panic. And this, right here, is where being prepared makes all the difference in the world.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty bleak, right? But now let's talk about the solution. And this isn't about digging a bunker in your backyard. This is about smart, simple, everyday things that literally anyone can do to be ready.
All right, so here it is, your essential 6-step checklist. This is totally doable. Number 1, keep some cash on hand. Digital will fail. Number 2, have at least 2 weeks of food that won't spoil. 3, get a portable water filter. Clean water is everything. 4, an emergency radio is absolutely vital for getting information when the internet and cell networks are down. 5, keep those power banks and flashlights charged up. And finally, number 6, have both physical and digital copies of your important documents ready to go. These simple steps are the bedrock of being resilient.
Let's drill down on communication for a second, because this is so important. A hand crank or solar radio doesn't rely on the grid to get you official updates. Power banks can give your phone that last bit of juice you desperately need. And please, don't forget a physical list of important phone numbers. Your phone's contact list is useless if you can't turn it on. These are the simple tools that keep you connected when all the fancy tech fails.
When you take a step back and look at all these events together, you realize they're not just random accidents, they're warnings.
And paying attention to those warnings isn't about living in fear. It's about something else entirely. And really, this right here, this is the whole point of what we're talking about today. Being self-reliant isn't about fear. It's about freedom. The whole idea of preparing isn't to make you worry more, it's to help you worry less. It's the freedom that comes from knowing that if things go sideways, you and your family aren't helpless. You've got a plan. And that peace of mind, you just can't put a price on it.
So look, here's the bottom line. In this world that's getting more complex and frankly more fragile, being prepared isn't some extreme hobby anymore. It's just responsible. It's the smart thing to do. You don't have to turn your life upside down. Just take small, consistent steps to build up your own resilience. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. After everything we've just talked about, what do you think is the single most important thing that everyone should have in their home for an emergency? Really thinking about that? Well, that's the first step to being truly prepared.